So I guess I was mistaken with this one. I thought Xbox was pretty much the party to hold accountable for the cancellation of Scalebound. Apparently, it was actually Platinum Games who were the culprit in the cancellation of Scalebound. I've always gone with this particular idea, and this was going on out there. I looked around, and pretty much you see a lot of people holding Xbox accountable for cancellation of, Scalebound. So shout out to the community here. You guys came in and you corrected this video and all of that. And you said, guys, this is pretty much something that Platinum Games basically came out with. And I did not know. A lot of this stuff's been memory hold. Like, here's an article. After you guys gave me the keywords, I punched them into Google. And here it is. Platinum Games is saying that we weren't experienced enough. Platinum Games is saying that they were working in an environment that they, were not used to. And I'm going to go ahead and read you guys' comments to this particular, video, because I think it's very pertinent here. So number one, I think, let's go ahead and find the comments for that video itself. So Cal Set Fire said Platinum Games were dipping into the money Microsoft has invested on Scalebound to pay developers working on another contract. You can't do this. The money from Microsoft doesn't belong to Platinum until they fulfill their contractual obligation. In this case, a game. They should have gone to the company their agreement was with, which I believe to be was PlayStation, for more money, and sequestered Microsoft's investments to only be used on Scalebound's development. There's no way this happened by accident. See, this is even worse than I thought. And I was actually wrong, but I mean, what I'm seeing. You know what? Let's go ahead. Let's keep going. Vern Kai Spy, you said Microsoft will never return to Scalebound because Platinum screwed over Microsoft Xbox by misusing their funds, and then they only admitted years after that it was their fault when Xbox got the flack. I did not see this update. Wow. Okay. Nervous breakdown. The problem is that almost every Japanese developer almost always screws Microsoft. Look at what happened in TFLO. What is TFLO? I need to figure out what that game is. I don't even know what that game is. Lil Devin, you're the one who first pointed out this in the comment of the video. And so I started looking. I was like, dude, what's going on here? So you said, I respect and watch your channel a lot. But Scalebound, you need to research more on it. Lil Devin, if you did not tell me about this money thing, those results do not come out for Scalebound they did not come out for Scalebound when I actually looked up the cancellation. So why couldn't you make them pay if you're just going to use their money to appease your competitor while not even hitting any of your time frames? That's horrible business plan and should have gotten in trouble for it. Yeah, Xbox is the one that's been dogged for it for years. Interesting. I still do think, though, that Microsoft should have continued development for Scalebound. Don't get me wrong, but I did not know that this was the case. Apparently, if, Kevin's comment's actually correct, then they came out years later to admit that they were actually doing something wrong, which I think is just absurd. And if you're saying that they were using money for PlayStation's, they were basically using the funds for developing and working on PlayStation's title, then that's even much worse than anybody could even imagine. Because at the end of the day, they were talking about using Unreal Engine and all the others, but they already have their own game engines that they could work on. And so this is just weird at the end of the day. To me, I think this is weird. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I think this is probably no surprise, or this is a little surprise to see now how Xbox is basically, in a sense, much more distant from working, in much closer relationship, other than, say, maybe in publication and all, with a lot of third-party studios. Because for the most part, it just seems like the industry has not even really been too favorable for them. And I think this is also another reason you see them probably, trying to strengthen their relationship with, Japanese developers and studios in Japan. But this is a very unique situation at the end of the day. And Microsoft has been held accountable for this. So this is my bad. I did not find anything until you guys pointed that out. I probably should have shot a few messages here on Discord to ask a little bit. And maybe I should have done a lot more digging on Reddit. I think subreddits are probably more powerful. So this is my bad that I was holding Microsoft accountable and actually saying this when in reality, this was all Platinum Games. This was not necessarily something that Microsoft did themselves. This was, Scalebound developers not meeting their obligations in making a game that they were, contracted to make. That's wild. So I think this is actually, in my opinion, bringing a lot more into perspective, because we were talking about money hatting and we were talking about all this other stuff in the other video. And my deal has been, it's good for a studio to basically put their own money into their own, for a publisher anyways, our platform holder, to put all their money into their own development cycle and their own development lifespan. And I think with Xbox actually focusing more on its own, games, its first-party games, and not running around money hatting, I think it actually makes more sense why this has been their approach since the Tomb Raider days and even the Scalebound days. Because this would have been a second-party game at the end of the day. Now, maybe they can still do some business with other second-party, developers, but I mean, if you've been burned like this, it's going to be hard for you to basically go ahead and do that. You just leave everybody to make their game, and whatever publishing needs they have from you, you just make available. And if they're going to bring their game to your platform, let them bring it. If they're not going to bring it, let them do what they want with it. So this is what I've seen now more than anything else. So I'm going to actually make a video that actually, talks about this even in more depth in the future, because this is a very solid improvement, I guess, in terms of their business strategy. And it's new to me anyways, information that's come out has really set things, in better perspective. So shout out to the community for actually correcting me on that. I was far off. My research was not deep enough to basically find out what was going on here. Interesting. Thanks for watching the video. Appreciate you guys so much. Chat with me in the comment section. Peace out.